in the meantime, we still need support to keep this government beating these guys up.
It does. It takes money. It takes time. I apologize to all the people who've been trying to get hold of me about various issues. I know that there are some of you who have waited for phone calls and I haven't been able to get to you. And I know others have called me and I haven't been able to answer. And I know that there are some, correspondences I haven't been able to make, thank you notes I haven't been able to write. It's just so much is now turning our way. And so much information is coming our way that it's like a tidal wave. And, I do the best I can every day. And at a certain point, I just get too tired and it's like the Ever Ready Money commercials, I go, 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 and then just flat over on my side. And I can't go anymore for the day. So that's it,
Yeah.
But I am trying, and I'm sorry that I can't answer everybody. Okay? So just forgive me for that one. I'm doing the best I can with the time I have and the skill and knowledge and contacts and everything else to make this all work out for everybody. And I do want to say that, some people seem to think that all I do is sit around and write articles. The truth of the matter is that I write articles at odd times. I mean, I write articles, I compose them in my mind as I'm taking a bath. And then I get out and I go, and I can type really fast, thank God. But anyway, no, articles are just a relatively small part of what I do, because there's all of the stuff that goes on in the background that acquires the knowledge and the facts and everything else to be able to write those articles. And so, maybe 10% of my time gets spent on articles and 90% of my time gets spent on research, reading, legal work, lawful work, record keeping, administering the Alaska State Court, all of it. So anyway, but I do want to put in a beg for our peacekeeping task force. I know they need money. I know they need it desperately. I know they need it in order to travel. I know they need it to get their uniforms, and I know they need to get some money together to be able to get the organizational program, moving the way it should. And so we need money for the peacekeepers, the Continental Marshals, which are, again, an absolutely important part of the overall structure we need to be able to protect people in international jurisdiction. And of course, our activities. The research is just through the roof. The work that's being done in terms of serving the courts and serving the judicial councils and serving the credit reporting agencies and the banks and all this stuff. It's just mammoth.
Yeah.
And so we do need money. We need money to keep the offices open. We need money to pay the electrical bills. We need money to pay for paper and ink and computers and printers. I mean, just this weekend, I almost had a heart attack because we had a giant electrical surge. It took out, it took out my gigantic surge protector.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I have a surge protector the size of Mount Vesuvius. I mean, it's half the size of a normal desk. It took the hit, thank God, and the computer system is alive and kicking, and all of our memory is intact. But it took out It took out the surge protection. The main surge protector was blasted.
Ooh.
And the circuits in one whole half of my house were taken out. All the EFIs were blown. It was a hell of a hit.
The Alaska electricity can get pretty wild sometimes.
Oh yeah, it does. It does. And that was one of those instances. But anyway, that just gives you an example. Now I have to buy another surge protector. And we need money for stuff like that to keep going and to keep safe and to be able to keep our records and all the things of life that go on in pursuit of what we're doing here. So please do send us if you can. I mean, don't feel bad if you're in financial straits and you really feel you can't afford to send anything. Send us some prayers if you can't afford to send us anything in terms of money. That's, when you say a prayer, you're opening up the floodgates of a far greater power that's able to fund us. Okay, so send prayers, and those that do have some extra and you can afford to support the government that's supporting you in more ways than one, in more ways than you can ever know, then please do send us a donation, and we'll be supporting all of these different functions and encouraging everybody and doing all that we can to progress the work that we have before us. So the fastest and easiest way to get money to us is through PayPal. So if you can use PayPal, please do. The PayPal address is the same as my email address, and that is AVANNAVON, Avanavon at gmail.com. I know it's kind of a doofus email, but that's the way it is, and that's what the PayPal is too. So Avanavon at gmail.com. That's the fastest, and in many respects, the easiest for us to be able to move payments to people that need it on an ongoing basis. And then if you so wish, you can certainly send checks and money orders and that sort of thing through our snail mail. And the snail mail address is Anna, ANNA, Maria, MARIA, Reisinger, RIEZINGER, in care of Box 520994 in Big Lake, Alaska, 99652. And while we're on that topic, not the begging for support, but the topic of mailing addresses, I noticed that quite a few people who write to me are confused about mailing addresses. And it's much the same game as they play when they come around and they assign a street name and number. Okay. What you want to do with these different assigned addresses in order to keep them from having any claim of contract with you is simply to use in care of. Because you're not a box, right? You're not your post office box, and you're not your name, right? So you're receiving your mail at a location, hoping that it's your mail and not addressed to some municipal citizen that you never knew or heard about. So use the in care of, and then just use the zip codes and just whatever the standard address would be, just use in care of. And that does away with any fear or issue of contracting into their service, or their system, I should say, their jurisdiction. And you can also then expect a more timely reply. Because I mean, if I have to go look up your zip code, that could add a week, 2 weeks, because just of how busy things are. So don't be afraid to use zip codes, and don't be afraid to use street numbers or box numbers or on any of that stuff. Just send it, in care of as a return address. Okay?
Fantastic, Anna. And just on that note, there's a whole bunch of things we don't need to be afraid of. We don't need to be afraid of our social security number. We don't need to be afraid of our driver's license. We don't need to be afraid of the zip code or anything else. We own it all.
We own it all, and we accept it all as gifts and waive all benefits. Oh, isn't it nice that they gifted me with that street address? Oh, I'm so pleased that they gave me that social security number so that if I ever wanted to apply for a federal job, I'd be set up and ready to go. Isn't that wonderful?
So thoughtful.
Yeah.
Well, Anna, it's been a fantastic evening with you. Thank you so very much for all of your amazing work. You are an amazing writer, too. I just love reading your articles. And there have been so many times that I'm reading a line and I just start laughing out loud because you have such a great sense of humor. I love it when you call them the rats and the vermin.
Well, sometimes I just, I can't help it,
Yeah.
I get to a point where I'm just so disgusted by some of the things that have gone on here and by the harm that has been done to innocent people that, yeah, I do get a little bit hot under the collar. It doesn't mean I'm violent. It doesn't mean I'm crazy. It just means that I have a healthy sense of conscience and justice.
Absolutely.
And I'm counting on all the other Americans out there who do too. I mean, if you agree with me that it is a travesty against all humanity that a 94-year-old woman should be evicted from her house for not paying 6 cents worth of property taxes that she didn't owe, well then, I guess that's a defining line between whether you're a rat or not.
Yes, it is.
Anyway, those sorts of things just make me want to get out my Wump the Weasel kit and go. And I'm sure there are enough Americans out there who feel the same way. So let's go.
Game on.
Absolutely. Enough of being charged for taxes that we don't owe. Enough of presumed trusts and presumed contracts. I hope everybody got a chance to read what happened in Alaska. It's one of the articles that was released this past week. And it explains how, because they brought the people of Alaska together to make the statehood contract work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as those convention delegates left, they stepped forward and say, we don't know where they went. They left us in charge.
See, rats and vermin.
Self-interested, power-hungry, grasping, slush fund eating vermin.
Yep.
Of the same kind as rats and locusts. So if that's the way people want to act and that's the way they want to be and they want to class themselves in the same, genera as things, as humans, instead of acting as responsible, sane, and hopefully conscientious men and women, and I guess they'll just have to be there with the locusts and the rats and the other creatures that consume without producing and that have no sense of justice and don't wish to have a a decent world.
No, self-interest, self-greed.
Well, that's part of what the Bible is telling us in the story of Cain and Abel. I mean, that Cain is the son of Satan, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No conscience. I mean, he's killed his brother.
Right.
And what's his response? I'm not my brother's keeper. It's all the same to me if he's dead. And yeah, we are dealing with sons of Cain.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, they are rats. They are completely self-oriented. They are completely ego-centered. It's all about them, them, them. It's like they're in a state of arrested development. Remember that state of development that 2-year-olds go through, about 2 to 4?
Mm-hmm.
You'll get these little kids, and they'll get into this thing where everything is mine,
Mm-hmm.
mine, mine. It's like these are adult people who are stuck in that mindset.
Yep, absolutely.
It's just a completely mindless drive for me, 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 and nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's basically one of the worst things that we have to contend with. About 5% of the population has no conscience.
Mm.
And it runs in families, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something we have to be aware of, and we have to deal with it.
Absolutely. And just say no. We're not going to take it. We're not going to put up with it.
They do learn by rote, the same way that a dog learns.
Oh.
They don't understand why something is right or wrong. They don't feel it. But if they get bapped across the nose with a newspaper enough times, they learn that no, they can't get away with that.
Okay, roll up those newspapers, folks.
And get your big stamps that say, no contract. It's going to come in handy as all those secondary bill collectors hit the streets and try to fleece you out of thousands upon thousands of dollars. So the information you just got here tonight, please share widely.
Fantastic. Thank you, Anna.
Good night, guys.
Have a great week.
You too. God bless.
God bless.
Learn how to become an American state national or American state citizen by navigating to www.theamericanstatesassembly.net. Links to Anna's articles and resources can be found in the video description box. Thank you for subscribing, liking, sharing, and commenting.
If you enjoy having Anna's latest articles made into videos, please consider making a purchase from Ed's website sacredintuitiveelements.com. Thank you.